Well, let's turn our attention back to the situation down in the Western Cape, where workers in the province are bearing the brunt of the ongoing taxi violence, protracted by now, isn't it? Cosatu says workers are being forced to use annual leave because they can't get to work. The Union Federation also saying employees are now beginning to lose money. It's warning that action is going to be taken. Let's find out what that action is and aimed at who. It's a pleasure to welcome to eNCA on the South African Morning, Cosatu's Western Cape Secretary, Mr. Malvern. Mr. Bruyn, good morning to you. Thank you very much. You're our first guest, by the way, in our brand new studios here on eNCA. Pleasure to have you with us. When we talk about a warning being issued, what is that warning and to who?
Good morning, Garland, and good morning to the viewers and listeners. It's indeed a pleasure to form part of your interview this morning. Yeah, as Cosatu, we are worried what's currently happening in our province. And the sad reality is that our workers and commuters are now the ones that are now being penalized because of the violence in our province. And at Cosatu, we were very clear from the beginning that employers can't discipline workers if they are late or can't make it to work because of taxi violence, because it's not their fault. And we were very clear that if workers are subjected disciplinary action, if workers are dismissed because of being late or absent, then they should notify the nearest union immediately. In the event that they don't belong to a union, that they should contact the Cosatu office immediately so that we, from our side, can intervene.
This could go one step higher as well, couldn't it? I mean, you're essentially, Malvern, coming out and echoing the same sentiment as the Transport MEC for the Western Cape. It's Mr. Dalen Mitchell saying that he's disappointed that commuters are suffering at the hands of just a few. I mean, these taxi organisations are holding workers and their jobs hostage, aren't they?
Yeah, we are worried as Cosatu because for the last 2 to 3 weeks, Cosatu with its alliance partners engaged different stakeholders, taxi associations, the provincial management of SAPS, the Cape Chamber of Commerce, and we are all worried what's happening. We've met with the more than once, and at least there is a willingness from the taxi associations to listen, to talk about the issues that they are confronted with. But we've told them from the beginning that they need to cease fire, and they at least agreed to a ceasefire. But they're also willing to go to the table. But I think there's still a reluctance from them to come to a solution that at least can bring peace to the province.
What do you say to employers, though, Mr. Bruyn, who are saying that this is going on far too long? They have a business to run and they can't keep those on payroll who aren't able to get to their jobs, even understanding the situation because of transport and the taxi violence. What do you say to those employers who say they can't keep paying staff who aren't there?
No. We are very clear. We are very clear. We told them, and we also engaged the Cape Chamber of Commerce, where we told them that they should be very sensitive in terms of what's currently happening in this province. So at no stage can they blame the employee. We are all aware, including them, and they've also agreed that workers are not to blame for what's currently happening. So unfortunately or fortunately, workers should stay on the payroll. So they can't take workers off because of what's currently happening in the province. We should find ways and means. If employers can assist workers that can work from home, provide them with the necessary tools so that they work from home. If employers can provide transport, do so if they can. But I think they should engage workers that can't give them. They should engage the union to find ways and means to make things much easier for employees. But we will not allow that workers be intimidated. We will not allow that workers lose their jobs during this crisis.
Just a final question to you, Mr. Bruyn. Is Cosatu at all involved in the negotiations, the peace talks with these various taxi organisations? What's the extent of your involvement?
Yes, as explained, for the last 2.5 weeks, Cosatu was directly involved. We've met with CATA, we've met with Podeta, we've met with civil organizations, we've met with the police. So Cosatu is directly involved in all these discussions. Cosatu with the alliance partners. So we are all, as a collective, we jointly meet with all these associations to find a lasting solution. We don't want short-term solutions. We want long-term solutions so that we can have peace in our province when it comes to the taxi violence that we are confronted with.
Yeah, absolutely. The violence, a big issue, of course, but jobs at stake here as well. People are already being put under pressure. For the moment, thank you very much, Mr. Malvern de Bruyn, Cosatu's Western Cape Secretary, warning employees or employers to be sensitive to employees in the Western Cape who can't get to work because of the taxi violence.